Okay, hello. Yeah, so, so so I'm unable to share the PPT. So I'm going without PPT. So am I audible to all? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. No, no problem. Thank you. So good evening to all. In continuation to our yesterday discussion, today we'll discuss the MAN-002 Archaeological Anthropology Block 2, that is archaeological units. Archaeological units. So here, yesterday we discussed about different fields, different areas of anthropology. So, which is the cultural anthropology, archaeological anthropology, biological anthropology, etc. And also their relationship to
Your
the.
voice is not clear, sir.
Oh,
Might be you're talking from some big distance.
no, no, yeah, I'm using mic only.
Yeah, yeah.
There is some actually today there is some network issue because of the rain. So let me
Now it is all right.
let me try now. Voice, hello. Now voice is hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay. So yesterday we discussed about the introduction of archaeological anthropology. Also, we discussed about the definition of scope and its historical development. So today we are going to discuss the archaeological unit that is block, and here we discuss the different areas of archaeological archaeology, which includes space, tool families, tool technology, household and decorative objects. So when we are studying the archaeology, we use to study different archaeological sites to get the evidences, and accordingly we classify the sites into different categories. So based on the site, their location, their artifact, the geography and location, the kinds of sites used to. So the archaeological sites need to categorize based on their location, based on their sites, based on their findings, etc. So when we are discussing categorizing archaeological sites based on their place location, we use to categorize to different groups like the living or habitation site, the trading centers, quarry site, kill site, factory site, ceremonial site, burial site, and based on their evidences, based on their context, also we categorize these archaeological sites into two types. One is the primary site and another is the secondary sites. So here we the different kinds of sites, different types of sites. Also, we will try to understand the different approaches for the archaeologists recognizing finding the archaeological sites. So, how we used to know about the archaeological site, that also we are going to discuss. Sometimes used to get the evidences from the documentary sources, from the aerial photography, from the ground surveys. Sometimes also we used to get the evidences from the present knowledge. So based on the space, based on the area and region, We used to categorize these archaeological sites into different types. Similarly, based on the settlement, based on the economy, also these archaeological sites are categorized into different groups like hunter-gatherer sites, agricultural settlement, fishing sites, etc. So in first, that is about the space or place. So here we will discuss how the space, how the location or the place of findings of any archaeological evidences used to play important role. As we are aware, the ecological environment plays an important role in studying biological cultural evolution of early man. And there are some aspects which are involved in this statement and they are studied in archaeological anthropology. So when we are studying archaeological anthropology, we used to take help of different subjects and also we need to study the different areas like biology, culture, environment, time, and space. So here we are discussing about the space, which is an important aspect for studying the distribution of man in different ecological sectors in relation to the surrounding environment. So the space is different. So from the archaeological anthropology point of view, the space has been utilized for studying the settlement pattern, the economic resources, the cultural activities. So the archaeologists study the subsistence pattern on the basis of artifacts with various technologies that people develop adapt to their environment. So when we discuss about the archaeological site, we use to get different type of archaeological sites. So from this point of view, when we're finding site means a precisely uh, location of a particular evidence.
ऑडियो क्लियर होनी
Hello,
सर ऑडियो क्लियर होनी
audio clear only.
नहीं
Actually, now, hello. ହଁ ଏବେ କ୍ଲିୟର ଅଛି ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଏଇଠି ୱେଦର ଆଜି ବହୁତ ଖରାପ ଅଛି ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
ଗତକାଲି ତ ପୁରା କ୍ଲିୟର ଥିଲା
ନା
ଆଜି କଥା
ହଁ
ଗୁଡା
ଗତକାଲି ବାରିପଦା ଏବେ ଆଫ୍ଟରନୁନ ବର୍ଷା ହଉଛି ମୁଁ ଟିକେ ବାହାରେ ଅଛି ତ ବାହାରେ ୱେଦର ଖରାପ ଅଛି ନା ଏବେ ଏବେ କ୍ଲିୟର ହଉଛି
ହଁ ଟିକେ ଇମ୍ପ୍ରୁଭ ହେଲା
ହଁ
ଦେଖାଯାଉ
ନା
କଣ ହଉଛି
ହଁ ଟିକେ ନେଟୱାର୍କ ଇସ୍ୟୁଟା ବି ରହୁଛି ଟିକେ ଇଏ କଲା ବେଳକୁ ହଁ ହଉ ଏବେ ଆମେ କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁ କରିବା ଏବେ ଯଦି ବେଟର ହଉଛି ମୁଁ ଭାବୁଛି ଏଇଥିରେ ଯିବା ସେ ମୁଁ ଇୟରଫୋନ ଲଗାଉଛି କଲା ବେଳକୁ so
ଠିକ ଅଛି ସାର୍
so these archaeological sites when we are discussing about the space and from the archaeological anthropology point of view so we used to classify the archaeological sites into different groups based on the artifact content, whatever artifact, whatever material called available from different archaeological sites. Based on that, we used to classify into different sites. One is like that Stone Age sites, Chalcolithic sites, Iron Age sites, Neolithic sites, historical sites, like that. So when we are classifying these sites, we used to consider the available findings, available material, available evidences, whatever present from that particular site. And based on those evidences, the archaeological sites are classified into different groups. So a particular site can be labeled according to its specific artifact content. Like, take an example, if we are discussing about the Stone Age culture, so the available stone tools of different cultural period that used to provide some evidences, and based on that we used to call the Stone Age cultural sites. Similarly, for the Chalcolithic, we used to classify the site based on the available material like some metal remains, some lithic remains, some ceramic remains, etc. So based on the evidences what we are getting, we used to name that particular sites. So here we are discussing the space. Similarly, in archaeological anthropology, the stone tool family or stone tool typology is one of the important component where these stone tools of different time period help us to determine the cultural period, the economy of those people, their technological development, their food habit, diet, environment, etc. So here also we discuss that the tool typology, tool technology, as well as some household and decorative objects. So as we are classifying the archaeological sites based on the available findings into different categories. That's what I told, like Stone Age sites, Chalcolithic sites, Neolithic sites, Iron Age sites, or historic sites. In a similar way, based on the geographical as well as geological location of archaeological sites or the place where these archaeological evidences are discovered or located. These archaeological sites are again classified into different groups. One is called open sites. Open site means the place located on the open space. Similarly, the lakeside sites, the archaeological evidences are located close to the lakes. Similarly, the valley sites, foothill sites, cave sites. So based on their geographical location, whether they are located on the hilltop, foothill, hill slope, river bank, or wherever it may be. So based on their geographical location, the archaeological sites are also classified into different groups. So after that, these archaeological sites are also classified into different kinds, different types, based on their use or based on their utility. So first thing we discuss that based on their available raw material, the archaeological sites are classified into different groups like Stone Age cultural sites, Chalcolithic sites, etc. Second one we discuss the based on their geographical location, that is foothill site, riverbank sites, lake sites, etc. Third one is the based on utility, based on use of that archaeological sites. So based on use of these archaeological sites, the sites are classified into different groups like living sites or habitation sites, trading sites or business sites, curing sites, kill sites, factory sites, ceremonial sites, burial sites. So based on their activity, the activity what was done in that particular site. So accordingly, the sites are named indifferently. So apart from that, archaeological sites are also classified into two broad categories. that is the primary sites and secondary sites, based on their condition of their sites. If a particular archaeological site is comparatively not disturbed or located in situ or in original context, that is called the primary site. So if people have deposited their own remains there, or if the remains have been redeposited by another people or by natural agencies, that is called the primary site. Second one is the secondary site. Any other human disturbances or natural disturbances of a particular site, and because of the disturbances, the archaeological findings, archaeological materials shifted from one place to another place and redeposited over there. So, in that context, the original location of those tools, artifacts, or archaeological materials is changed to another place, and that is called the secondary sites. So, here, when we are discussing about the archaeological sites, whether that is based on their location, based on their geographical location, based on their typology or use, or for any reason. If it is like that, so the characteristic feature of the sites used to change. But when we are discussing of the space, utilization of space or archaeological sites, one question came in our mind that these particular archaeological sites, how it formed, means how a site is made. Similarly, another question used to come in our mind that how do you know where to look for the sites? So here two questions. One thing that we used to think how a particular archaeological site formed. And second thing, how we know about the location of a particular archaeological site. And the study of these archaeological sites and their formation, their location is called the formation of a site. So usually we used to see that the archaeological sites are the place where some kind of evidences relating to the human activities are present or buried or buried. So sites are the result of human activities. It may be their habitational site, maybe their activity sites, or maybe the factory site. So whatever it may be, but that must be related to any kind of activity. So the condition of the sites and depth of the findings are very important aspects in studying the formation process. So this depends on the formation of a site. So when we're discussing of the formation of a site, usually we used to see two major agencies which are responsible for formation of an archaeological site. One is called C formation, another is called N formation. The C formation stand for cultural formation and N formation means the natural formation. What does it mean by C formation and N formation? C formation means the archaeological site which is created, which is formed
because of human cultural activity. Take an example. In a prehistoric rock shelter, human beings they occupied that particular shelter for a certain period of time, and after that, they left that particular cave with some unused materials. And in course of time, because of the geological processes, because of the geological processes, these archaeological material findings are buried under the soil. So that is one of the cause. Sometimes because of different natural agencies like flood or cyclone, the cultural sites are damaged, disturbed, and converted to the archaeological site. So one archaeological site may be formed because of human interaction, because of human activities, or because of the natural activities. And accordingly, these sites are called as the cultural sites or natural sites. So, thing is that coming to our question number two, how do you know where to look for the sites? Yes, this is one of the important questions. How will know? How will know that particular archaeological findings objects will be available there? And for this, the archaeologists used to study that particular area from different dimensions. They used to explore that particular location. They used to study the geological deposit of that area, the soil stratigraphy, soil color, soil nature, associate findings, even some documentary references. So, based on those materials, they try to get some kind of more detailed evidences from that particular sites. And once some related evidences are reported from that particular sites, it used to give certain clue about the deposition of different cultural materials. So, thing is that when the archaeologists used to study about the sites or try to understand about the findings or the deposition or the location of a particular site, they use different techniques, different methods. As one I told, they used to explore. That is called exploration or ground survey. So very closely they used to work the particular sites and try to see, try to identify, try to get some kind of evidences related to the past culture. Second thing, the existing knowledge, usually relating to the historical sites. Sometimes some folklore, belief systems, or practices are present, which indirectly provides some kind of evidences relating to the existence of that particular sites. So the existing knowledge, take an example, in one site, archaeological sites or historical mound is present close to a village. So sometimes people or the villagers they used to worship that particular sites. They used to consider the site as the sacred place, or they used to have some kind of oral tradition or oral literature which explains about the existence of some kind of archaeological evidences. Third one is the aerial photography. Nowadays, the archaeologists are using different kind of modern scientific technologies like GIS, remote sensing, and other techniques which are more and more popular in archaeological exploration help us to get more authentic data, more authentic evidences about the location of a particular site. Here, the aerial photography means the photography, a photograph taken from the top, used to provide us the knowledge about the distribution, the location, the direction of a particular archaeological sites and the composition of material and its surrounding environment. So aerial photography is very much helpful in archaeological site discovering or finding. And last one is the documentary sources, especially for the historical sites. Sometimes some literature, either in published form or manuscript form, are available in different places. Sometimes the diary, notes, newspaper clips are also help us to know the importance, the locations of a particular site. So when we are discussing about the context of specific sites, we used to see that these archaeological sites are of different types. Sometimes some of the archaeological sites are very much temporarily. Sometimes some archaeological sites are very much durable, used for a long period of time. So both type of sites which will help us to know the nature of the archaeological site. So particularly settlement archaeology used to study this kind of characteristic feature, whether a particular archaeological site is temporary or permanent, and how it is interconnected to their surrounding geographical setting, surrounding environment. So, from this point of view, we discuss the prehistoric sites. We used to see different types, and that is based on their location, based on their activity. As we discussed earlier, it might be the educational sites, it might be the ceremonial sites, or the hill sites, grave sites, trading center, or any kind of activity site or game. So, in this context, if we discuss the area, region of archaeological sites, we used to see that there is a territorial boundary of a particular community. Means a particular group of people used to stay, used to reside in a particular area. It might be having a particular natural geographical boundary or something else. So they used to perform their most of their activity within their particular territory. Take an example. We can see the boundary of Kungsan or Bushmen of Kalahari area. So they are living in Kalahari area. The Eskimos, they are occupying a particular territory. So like this, all the communities, all the people, they are occupying a particular area and usually they used to distribute in that particular area. So the space point of view or the spatial point of view, if we'll see the archaeological sites, we can distribute into different categories like archaeological culture, culture area, archaeological region, etc. So when we are discussing about the archaeological culture, we must have to know the tool assembly or the findings of this particular culture. So here, the archaeological culture is the reflection of the material remains or tools or artifacts used or prepared by human beings is a part of their culture and which are preserved in a particular space and a particular time. Sometimes these archaeological findings materials are prepared in a particular place and used in another places. Sometimes also we use a particular tool type used in a particular time and the use of the particular tool continue for another period of time for another generation. So archaeological culture need to study the distribution of space, the use of a particular tool, particular object, horizontal in the territory, the space that you to study means the area, the distribution, the extension of particular sites. Sometimes also we need to study the chronology, the time period, the duration, for how long a particular object was under use. So similarly, the culture area, it is a large geographical area in which the characteristic of an archaeological culture exist in the context of time and space. And accordingly, archaeological region, this is generally described as well-defined geographic area bounded by geographic features such as ocean, lakes, mountains, etc. So this lake, mountain, ocean, this used to define about a particular region which is comparatively bigger than the culture area. So when we are discussing the distribution of cultural sites or the settlement pattern, the settlement archaeology used to study the factors related to the settlement of a particular culture, where it is to study the environment, the economic practices, the technological skills, etc. So we can take example of bushman. Bushman camps are located in a small area, and from there they used to move for their daily activities. So where they used to stay and collect, gather, hunt, or fetch the water for their survival. So when we are discussing of the level of determinants of settlement pattern, we need to see the different levels, especially for the historical context. Historical context, we need to see the building or structure, we need to see the community, we need to see the distribution of population over the different space, different places, etc. But from the prehistoric point of view, if we see the distribution of people, it used to differ from the area to area. Means the hill area to plain area to the coastal area, etc. So here they use a small piece of land, small pocket of land at their habitation place, their settlement place, and from there they used to move in different directions for their different activities. We can take example of the Jarwa, which is one of the ancient Negrito tribes living in Andaman Nicobar Islands of India. So this nomadic tribe continue to be hunting and gathering one. So still they are surviving with the hunting gathering economy. So they used to collect their food remains from their surrounding economy, surrounding environment. So when we are discussing about the archaeology of settlement or settlement archaeology, usually five things used to come in our mind, which used to provide some kind of evidences relating to the settlement pattern of in archaeological sites. These five things are: number one, structure; number two, inter-site analysis; number three, meaning of settlement; number four, landscape; number five, intra-site analysis. So number one is the structure, which interpreting the function of a building and other structures on archaeological sites. Similarly, the inter-site analysis is the tracing of settlement pattern and the relationship between different sites. Number three, the meaning of settlement is the interpreting the importance of different sites and places to the people in the past. Number four, landscape. This is the impact of humans on their environment and their use of it. And last, number five is the discovering the spatial distribution of activities on archaeological sites. So this is all about the space. Now we'll move towards the tool families, particularly stone tool families. So here, as we are discussing in our previous class, the prehistoric Denizen, the prehistoric people, they were using different kind of stones for different kind of activities. So these tools are classified into different categories based on their raw material, based on their typology, based on their techniques of manufacturing, as well as based on their state of preservation. So when we're discussing about the raw material, usually the prehistoric people were using very limited rocks or stone types for making their tool or artifact. During the lower Paleolithic time, they were basically exploiting the quartz and quartzite. In Middle Paleolithic time, also it continued. Upper Paleolithic time, along with this quartzite, they also introduced the different types of chart. They are major raw material. In Mesolithic time, mainly the different shades of chart like gray chart, black chart, banded chart, chalcedony, etc. are mainly used for making different tools. And during the Neolithic time, basically they were using the dolerite and diorite as their major source of stone for making different type of artifact. So for preparing these tools, stone tools, they were having different techniques. They were using different techniques. So the basic techniques of stone reduction is divided into three major categories. One is percussion, second one is stir, third one is grinding, packing, and polishing technique. So these are the three major techniques used for preparing different type of stone tool, beginning from the lower Paleolithic time of Middle Pleistocene era to the Neolithic culture of Holocene period. So the percussion technique is again divided into two types based on its technique. So one is the direct or direct percussion, another is indirect percussion. In direct percussion, they were giving pressure or hitting the artifact directly. Whereas the indirect percussion, the pressure was given indirectly by using an intermediary agency. So again, the direct percussion is divided into different types. One is bipolar technique. Second one is in anvil or block on block technique. Third one is stone hammer technique. Fourth one is cylinder hammer technique. So the first one, the bipolar technique, used to indicates that pressure is driven from the two poles, two sides of a particular stone. So this is one of the oldest technique for stone tool making. Similarly, in anvil technique, which is also known as the block on block technique, where two pieces of stones or blocks are used for making a stone tool. And here, the stone which is to be converted into an artifact or tool is tightly held and heated with another piece of or another block of stone. That is called anvil technique. Then stone hammer technique. In stone hammer technique, one stone is used at the hammer to hit on another stone to remove the flakes and design a particular tools. And cylinder hammer is the technique where a soft bone or wood is used as hammer to remove the flakes from the stones while preparing a stone tool. So during the Paleolithic time, where mainly the hunter-gatherer or forager are living, so they were preparing different kind of stone tool by using this anvil technique, hammer stone technique, soft out technique, and the tools of this particular technique and this particular cultural period, that is the local cultural period, include the chopper, cleaver, and axis. Similarly, in Middle Paleolithic time, mainly the flake tools were used, which were prepared by using different flaking technique. And there are two major flaking techniques used during Middle Paleolithic time. That is the Lactolian flake and Levalloisian flake. And the major tool types of this Middle Paleolithic period includes the scraper and points. So scrapers are also of having different types. Based on its shape, these scrapers are divided into different categories like round scraper, side scraper, end scraper, thumb length scraper, convex scraper, concave scraper, concavo convex scraper, etc. So these scraper are mainly prepared to scrape some material or remove some material from the original one. So sometimes these skippers are also used to remove the bark from the tree, remove the skin from the animal, etc. And similar the point is another important tool used during the Middle Paleolithic time is a pointed stone tool used to bore, to drill, or to make hole. So, coming to the Upper Paleolithic time, basically the blade and urine are in use, and the size of these tools are comparatively smaller than the tools of Middle Paleolithic time. And these blades and urine are basically made of the flakes. So, when we're discussing the Middle Paleolithic tool technology, as I told, the levolution technique, Musterian technique, and Clactonian technique are mainly used to remove a flake for using different activity, for using in different activity. So here the Clactonian technology is one of the oldest technique of Middle Paleolithic time, where flakes are simply removed, big size, large size flakes are simply removed and directly used for different purposes. Levolution technique is comparatively advanced technique in the Clactonian one, where the large flakes, long blades are removed. And Mousterian technique is the most advanced technique of Middle Paleolithic time period, where the flakes are removed very carefully, which are comparatively more sharp than the previous one, with the Levalloisian and Factorial. And therefore, the Mosterian tools, Mosterian flakes are more in use and used to provide the better result. So, in this way, it will see the Mesolithic period. As we discussed our previous classes, Mesolithic is the transition phase which used to connect the Paleolithic and Neolithic. Or, other words, we can say the Mesolithic is the transition between Paleolithic and Neolithic period of Holocene era. So here, Mesolithic time, usually we used to get the very tiny, very small object and artifact. Sometimes these small artifacts, objects, or tools were used directly, sometimes in a composite way. So therefore, the Mesolithic artifact, what is called the microliths. Microliths means micro means small, lith means stone. So small stone artifacts. And because of its composite use, because of use, its use in series, these microliths are also called the composite. Eh, Sometimes the geometric tool like triangle, reshape, trapeze, lunate are used together. And for that, they fix these tools either in a piece of bone or piece of wood in a series and use for better result. Apart from these tools, which are we are calling the geometric tool, some non-geometric artifacts are also present during the Mesolithic time, which includes the scraper, blades, and burins. So these particular tools of Mesolithic time, especially the tiny tools or micro tools, are prepared by using pressure flaking technique. Pressure flaking technique. So coming to the Neolithic, that is the last stage of prehistory culture, and it is having some typical or unique characteristic features which we are not present in the previous prehistoric cultures like Neolithic and Mesolithic. So Neolithic means the lithic time period where some new techniques, new methods, new knowledge are introduced. So the nomenclature of Neolithic itself it indicates about some kind of introduction of new elements into the cultural period. So here neo means the new, and lithic means the stone. And because of these new elements, he golden child told this Neolithic culture in the Neolithic revolution. Neolithic revolution. So there are four major characteristic features which are considered the important features introduced during the Neolithic times. And these four areas, four features are grinding and polishing technique, domestication of plants, domestication of animals, use of ceramics. So number one is the grinding and polishing technique. So till Mesolithic time period, our prehistoric lineages they were not aware about this particular technique. Even if they were preparing very tiny, very smooth artifact, but those artifacts were prepared either by using pressure flaking technique, cylinder hammer technique, hammerstone technique, anvil technique, like this. But in Neolithic time, along with these techniques, they introduced the grinding and polishing. So here question arises why this grinding and polishing technique introduced during the Neolithic time. So if we analyze the available material evidences, their place or their location where these evidences are found, we will see that most of the archaeological sites, especially the prehistoric sites, are located close to the water sources. And up to the Mesolithic time, the prehistoric people they were living either in the near site or in the cave. That time they are basically living in a small group, having the nomadic way of life, depending either on the hunting gathering or fishing or combination of both. So since the number of population was very less and they were living inside the natural environment. So there was a less scarcity of food. They are easily getting the foods from their nearby plant and animal resources. They were gathering fruits, tuberous from the forest. They were drinking water from their nearby streams, rivers, or lakes, and they were hunting different big games like elephant, deer, usually the small games like the mouse, rabbit, etc. So all these materials were easily available to them in their surrounding environment. But when it came to the Neolithic period, that time the population size comparatively increased, and these priest people started facing some kind of problem related to their food. So one side population size is increasing, and another side the food resources are decreasing. And probably this is a kind of pressure the Neolithic denizens to settle in a particular place and to start agriculture. So that time they saw that there are some kind of wild grasses consumed by the different animals. And they also started to use the grains, the seeds of those wild grasses, and found that some kind of benefit relating to their food, diet, subsistence. And that's why they started exploiting more and more on this kind of wild products, particularly the wild plants. And this was the beginning of domestication of plants, or we may say the origin of agriculture or introduction of agriculture. So when they found the importance of such wild seeds, plants, cereals, they started cultivating close to the water sources. And since it used to take about 3 to 4 months in entire process, beginning from the seeding or tilling land to harvesting. And there was a threat of wild animals in damaging the crop. The Neolithic people started living close to their cultivated land. They started preparing small huts for protection and stayed there for few months. And probably this staying, this settlement, the construction of house or huts leads them to stay there for a longer period of time. And in course of time, with the growth of their population, they constructed more and more number of huts, houses close to their agriculture field, and later on, which converted to the hamlets, villages, etc. So, this origin of agriculture or domestication of plants is one of the important characteristic feature of Neolithic culture. But the question arises, if they produce their own food, they need some mechanism, they need some devices, they need some material to store those grains or material for future. Means they have to store their product for another time. And this is the reason for what they started preparing pots or ceramics. So initially, the ceramics or earthen pots were prepared and baked on the sun, and later they developed the firing techniques and prepared pots are more better or useful. So initially they were using the handmade pots which are prepared with their hand and baked on sun. Later they started baking in kilns or furnaces and prepare different varieties of ceramics. So these pots, what the Neolithic people started preparing, are used for two different purposes. One is for storing their grains, and for that they are preparing the comparatively thicker pot and storing their grains and protecting those grains from the ant, insects, radiants, or any other wild animals. At the same time, they also felt the requirement of storing water, and that's why also they prepare small size pots with fine texture. So the ceramics, the use of ceramics is also for the first time noticed during the Neolithic period. Third one is the grinding and polishing techniques. Since they started tilling land, cultivating land, it was difficult to process their land, till their land with simply manpower. So for that, they started domesticating different animals like cow, and this cow helped them in tilling land, processing land, transporting their crops from the activity side to their settlement side, as well as the cow shed, so cow dung was helping in enriching the fertility of a particular agricultural land. So one side they were using these domesticated animals for agriculture purpose, for tilling land, for transporting their crops, for processing their crops. In another sides, they were using their manure, their cow dung as fertilizer. Besides, they were also using the meat for consumption, blood. They are using the skin or hide for covering their roots, using the clothes, covering their body. So there are multiple uses of domesticated animals. So during the time of scarcity, drought, famine, or any animal natural calamities, when they were unable to produce crops, they use animals in their food. So this is the reason why the Neolithic people started animals, domesticating animals. The last one is the grinding polishing technique. Grinding and polishing technique. So before that, we are not aware about the grinding and polishing technique, but they found that for drilling lane, they need a more sharp weapon or artifact or object. It may be the X or edge to get more better or more effective result. That's why they started grinding and polishing the tool, and they use these tools at the X edge or at the plowshare, which enhance the efficiency of their activities. So these tools of Neolithic time periods are of different types. Some are the X, some the edge, some of the chisel, or like that. So X are very similar to the present day iron X and mainly used for cutting the woods, whereas the edge, which is polished from one side, was basically used for scraping purpose, used for as a plowshare. Sometimes, so from some of the specific Neolithic sites of eastern India and southern China, evidences of soldier cells are also noticed. Soldier cells are comparatively more effective in agricultural purpose or any household activity. But these are very common to a specific region, specific location of eastern India, starting from Odisha, West Bengal, Assam. In other parts, these tools are usually not reputed. Are not reputed. So apart from this, the use of ring stones are also noticed during the Neolithic time. So ring stone or groove stone, sometimes the grooves are present from the both surfaces. Sometimes the grooves are present from the single side, single surfaces. So these ring stones are used for different purposes. So based on its size, the function used to differ. Very tiny one used as the net sinker, comparatively bigger one to the handle in the digging stick. Some of the ring stones are also used at the free wheel of the doors like this. So these are the major tool types, stone tool types of our prehistoric time. So here we discuss the tool typology and tool technology. Let's uh, clear it again. This tool typology and tool technology. So at the early period of prehistoric time, that is the lower Paleolithic time, when the people were basically the hunters and gatherers. They were living inside the natural environment and mainly depending on hunting, gathering economy time. So that time they were preparing a big size stone tool which are comparatively rough, rude, and more thick. We can take example of Babylonian stone tool of lower Paleolithic time. So These are very huge. But later, in course of time, they developed the tech and started preparing comparatively smaller artifacts which are more fine, more sharp, and more effective than the previous one. So the technology is developing as present time. That time also, because of the continuous use, they were experimenting again and again, and they were developing the new tools, new tool type. So from this point of view, what we discussed during the lower Peltic time, artistic people were using mainly the chopper, cleaver, and hand axes. And these tools are prepared by using either anvil technique or block on block technique, hammerstone technique, pressure flaking technique. During Middle Peltic time, scrapers were more commonly used. During Upper Peltic time, blade tools were more commonly used. During Mesolithic time, microliths, both the geometric and non-geometric tools are used. And during Neolithic time, the stone tools having grinding and polishing features are more and more in use. And from raw material point of view, you will see there is also evolution. At the early stage, especially during the Paleolithic time, quartz and quartzites are very common, and quartzite is more exploited for making different kind of stone. During the Mesolithic times, different varieties of charts, igneous rock are more in use. So these rocks are comparatively m- more hard and strong. That's why the small size artifacts are very nicely dressed, prepared out of these raw materials. So these are the tool typology, tool technology, and major raw material used during the prehistoric time. So next to the Neolithic is the Chalcolithic period, when our ancestors started using the metal remains. Metal remains. And what are these metal remains? Metals are the copper and bronze. So chalcolithic, the name itself indicates the combination of chalco and lithic, where chalco means the metal, lithic means the stone. So now question arises. Up to the Neolithic period, we are discussing the prehistoric people. They are basically using the stone artifacts, the stone tools for their various activities. And during Chalcolithic time, they introduce the metal. So thing is that when they introduce the metal, whether the stone tools of their previous cultural periods were in use, we are continuing or not. So the answer is that even if during Chalcolithic time the people started using different type of metal object, metal artifact, fine ceramic, the use of lithic tool was continuing. The Metal artifact s- started replacing the stone tools slowly, but not in complete way. So the use of metal tool, the use of stone tool, both were there and they are using parallelly, using together. So when we are discussing about this development, artifact, development of techniques after Chalcolithic period, around 2500 BC, the use of metals were very common in different places. And because of that, that particular time period is called Chalcolithic period, which is followed by Iron Age period. So during Iron Age time, human being for the first time they introduced iron. They melted the iron ore by using their traditional furnaces, and the smelted iron converted into different artifacts. So with the introduction of iron, there was a big change. There was a drastic change in human civilization. And with that, it entered into the time period of history. So this is the journey from the prehistory, particular lower Paleolithic, to the Metal Age culture, where we used to see the use of different type of stones, different minerals, different rocks, or different kind of materials, or preparing different kind of objects and artifacts. So while we are discussing of the prehistoric culture, we must not ignore the another area, that is the rock art. The evidences of rock art is present almost all parts of the globe. Of course, the more number of rock art sites are present in African continent, but it is also in equal way available in India, Australia, and other places. So, before discussing rock art, we must have to know the meaning of rock art. Rock art means a kind of artistic depiction of human skill on the rock surface. Usually, during Mesolithic time, the prehistoric people they were occupying different kind of natural rock shelters, and during their free time, they used to prepare different kind of drawings, engravings, paintings on the rock surface, cave surface, wall of the cave. And these paintings, engravings are called at the rock. So some of the rock art which are not exposed that much to the sun and rainwater are still present in different rock shelters. So for making these rock shelters, the priestly people they are using different kind of agents, colors, materials. Sometimes they are using the leaves, or extracting color from the leaves, flower, blood, or sometimes they were making color from different kind of stones, and sometimes they are mixing all these together and forming a new color. And these arts includes different kind of animal figurines, human figurines, activity, or natural scenery. So the study of rock art is one of the important area of prehistory, which indicates about the past cultural life, their relation to their local environment, their relation to the local flora, their relation to the local fauna. So how they were exploiting, how they were depending, and which type of animals, birds, or other things are present during that time, used to provide some kind of clues, some kind of evidences about. So coming to use of this kind of materials, stone tools or metal tools, it used to differ. Sometimes a particular kind of stone tool being used for various purposes, like the index of lower building may be used for hunting purpose, may also be used for digging purpose, like scraper. One can use it for scraping purpose. One also may use it for cutting purpose. So use you to differ. So based on their requirement, sometimes they are using the same for different purpose, or sometimes they are using different type of tool to solve a particular purpose. So use is completely based on their requirement, whether that is for single use, multiple use, or something else. So coming to the household and decorative objects, the study of household and decorative objects is very much important in archaeological anthropology. So if we'll see the material culture, the settlement pattern of simple people, simple society, or tribal people, we'll get some evidences about the manufacturing of the object, the use of the object, material of the object, etc. So, as we discussed during the time, people were basically the stone tool, stone artifact. Sometimes also they were using their local plant, animal resources for making different kind of stone tool. For plant, they were using for making the handles or the bow, arrow, spearhead, etc. Animal objects like the bones, claw are used as the weapon. But apart from it also, in course of time, they also started making different type of objects with different techniques. Some of the objects are related to their household activities. Some of the objects materials are used in their kitchen. Some are used for hunting purpose. Some of the objects material are used for the agriculture purpose. Some of the objects materials are used for decorative purpose. Some of the objects materials are used for transportation purpose, etc. So, if we'll see the household articles starting from the Neolithic periods to the present tribal society, we'll see the diversity of use in different areas, in different climatic conditions, in different geographic locations. The use of these objects vary. The shape, size, manufacturing technique also used to differ. But in general, if we classify these household articles, we may classify them to different groups. Like the household articles for cutting and piercing purpose, the household article for making fire, the household article used for tying things together, steering rope, cords, etc. The household article used for storing purpose. The household articles used for making clothes. The household articles used for cooking. The household article used for preparing and serving food and drinks. So these are few examples how the household article differ from one community to another community, one geographical area to another geographical area, one type of economic group to another type of economic group. So if we'll see the use of this material, so it gives us some kind of evidences relating to their socio-cultural practices, their religious activities, their economy, their settlement method, their surrounding environment, etc. The artifact used for hunting and gathering, if we'll see how to artifact used for their subsistence or hunting and gathering, we'll see these are very simple. The tribal simple society. Simply, they used to exploit the local resources. They used to cut a piece of bamboo or wood and prepare a bow or prepare a spear or prepare a place. So the technology is very simple. Technology is very simple. That's why the primitive people, the tribal people, are called the simple people who are very simple, not only in their behavior, culture, but also their material culture and other activity. Their houses are very small, their material events are very simple and limited. That's why they use the same house. It may be single room or double room. Hardly the tribal people are having multiple room house. And in this context, if you see the hunter-gatherer society, either from the India or from the abroad, their houses are very small and used for multi-purpose. Same house they use for sleeping purpose, they use for storing purpose, they use for sheltering their domestic animals, they use for kitchen purpose, etc. So one room having multiple function, multiple use. Similarly, one artifact, it might be the axe, edge, chisel, bow, arrow, knife, sickle, whatever it may be, they use for different purposes. So X is not only used for cutting the woods, but also it is to help to cut, chop different kind of the material of the wood. So similarly, these tribal people, they use different material for making fire. They prepare their fire by using two small pieces of plywood. They use these plant products, animal products to prepare different kind of storing beans. They prepare different kind of pots. For storing, they use the bamboo woods and prepare the baskets. They also use to prepare the storage jar, storing beans, storing pots with the help of bamboo flakes in the wood. Sometimes also they used to prepare the storehouse by using bamboo and mud clay. Sometimes also they use to store their food remains big size earthen pots. So these are some kind of traditional household articles used by different tribal communities across the globe and are also continuing in the present time. So coming to the covering the body or decorating the body based on the environmental condition, based on their place of habitation, based on their subsistence, based on their economy, the covering body used to differ from one group to another. Sometimes we used to see some of the tribal communities or primitive peoples, they are staying completely naked, whereas some are covering their body part, some are covering their body with the leaves, barks, and some are covering their body with the clothes. Some are covering their body with different kind of animal and fish skins. We can take example of the Zhuang tribe, one of the people tribe of northern Odisha. They are basically living in Keonjhar district. Year before, they were covering their body with the leaf, a bunches of leaves they used to put on their body and used to cover. But in recent past, they started using clothes. Similarly, the Eskimos, they are covering their body with the skins. Bushmen of Kalahari Desert, they are covering their body with the skin as well as the leaves and bark. So it indicates about their main nature relationship, the availability of material, their surrounding ecology, surrounding cultural ecology. Whatever they are getting, what is available to them, they are using those kind of materials for covering their body. Similarly, for decorating purpose, the simple society tribal rule sometimes they use different kind of flowers, grasses, seeds, bones, shells to decorate their body. They used to prepare different kind of jewelry, maybe to decorate their hands, legs, necks, or head. Sometimes also they use the feathers, birds' feathers, and different kind of metal ornaments. So again, it used to differ, and all these kind of materials, ornaments, what they are using are very closely related to their cultural ecology. So based on their availability, they use this kind of thing. So similarly, household articles also includes the materials used in kitchen, maybe for storing the food and drinks material, maybe processing, preparing the food and drinks, maybe used for serving the foods and drinks, or maybe using for eating different kind of foods. So in household articles, especially relating to the kitchen, also used to differ. And these materials are sometimes you prepared from the metal, sometimes the earthen pots are used for different purpose. Sometimes also different fruits, gourds are also used for these purposes. So it used to differ. So if we'll see the household articles of different tribal communities, we'll see it used to differ based on their ecology, their economy. In hunter-gatherer society, we'll see very, very simple household articles. Mainly, we'll get the bows and weapons, their heads, and simple house. But in fishing community, the fishing tribes, those who are living close to the water sources, and mainly depending on the marine product or different product, they use different kind of fishing implements, which may include the fishing traps, fishing nets, fishing boats, their traditional boats, etc. And these fishing traps, fishing nets are also prepared by using different materials. Sometimes they use the locally available grasses. Sometimes they use the bamboo flakes. Sometimes use different kind of sticks. Sometimes they use bark for preparing these fishing implements. And these fishing implements are also used in different ways. For still water, it different. For running water, it different. And sometimes some of the fishing objects are also used in seasonally. They use in a particular time, and after that, they used to kept preserve for the next use in the following year. Similarly, the household artifact includes different kind of material relating to the storing, cleaning, etc. The artifact also includes the agricultural implements like the wheel, bullock carts, plow, land leveler, axe, adze, chisel, knife, etc. Apart from this, there are some tribal people. They are also using the husking liver. They are using the molar, pestle. They are using earthen pots. They are using wooden box. They are using different kind of grain beans prepared from their natural resources. So these are the household artifacts you found in different tribal communities. Next, material is the musical instruments. As we are aware that most of the simple society people, tribal people, they are fond of music and dance. They used to sing and dance during their leisure time. And for that, they play different kinds of musical instruments. Some are the drums, single membrane drums, some other double membrane drums, and other type of instruments. So these are also very good material found in the tribal society. So another household ingredients includes some kind of decorative and ritual and religious. Decorative materials are usually prepared with expensive and expensive or rare material which are usually hang on the wall or in the open public areas which are visible to others to enhance the beauty or the aesthetic value. And some of the materials which are used for different ritual purpose, the ceramics, small pots, some kind of weapons, etc. So these are specially prepared for these kind of activities and placed in the sacred place, ritual place, inside the family or inside the house. Sometimes these are at the family level, sometimes at the clan level, community level, and village level also. So these are also important material components. So relating to the transportation, the household artifact goods, the block cart, the traditional board. So this is all about the household artifact. Household artifact. So here now we are approaching towards the concluding part of our discussion. So today we discuss the different units of archaeology where the role of space in archaeological study, the tool families means the tool typologies of different cultural periods, the tool technologies or technique of manufacturing of different tools, as well as the objects related to different types of household activities and for decorative purpose. So in space, we discuss the role of space, role of place, role of environment, role of ecology, how it has a great impact on human culture, especially in the prehistoric time. And here we we separated the archaeological sites into different categories based on their location, based on their use, based on their typology. Take an example, the site is located at the top of the hill or forest. That is called hilltop site. For example, one archaeological site is discovered at the foothill of a particular mountain. That is called foothill site. Suppose a particular site is located close to the lake. That is called lake site. Similarly, site is located on the river bank. That is called river bank site. So based on their space, the archaeological sites are named in different ways. Similarly, based on their use, suppose a particular place was used for exploitation of raw material, for collection of raw material for making stone tools or stone artifact. That is called either resource site or the source site. The space is meant for collecting to raw material. So that is the source site. So there they were collecting the stone tool. They are collecting the raw material for making stone tools. In the activity sites means where they are performing different kind of activity they are doing. It may be the hunting site, maybe the butchering sites, maybe the fishing sites, maybe the agricultural sites. So wherever they are doing a particular kind of work, particular kind of activity, that is called activity site. And similarly, also we discuss about the settlement sites or habitation site. Habitation site indicates about the place where the people were inhabiting, where the people were residing. So, like this, based on the space where it is located, how the particular space was utilized, the name of different sites are given. So, similarly, we discuss the tool typologies, tool families, where we found some of the stone tools are used during the Paleolithic time, some are Middle Paleolithic times, some are Upper Paleolithic time, some are Mesolithic times, or Neolithic times, or like this. And among them, some are used at different stages, different time period. Even if introduced during the Lower Paleolithic time, the use continues for later period. Even if one particular tool type introduced during the Mesolithic time, but use of that particular tool was also noticed during the later period, with the Neolithic and Chalcolithic. We may take example of the blade. Blade was very commonly used during the Upper Paleolithic and Mesolithic time. But it does not mean that it was not used during the Neolithic time or Chalcolithic time. So it was used during the later period of time, but it was not in a similar way or not in that similar frequency. Maybe it was rarely used, occasionally used. So even if it is less in use, but it was continued. Similarly, we also discussed the tool technology, realistic time. Tool technology means how futuristic people are preparing stone artifacts, stone tools during various period of time. So if we see tool technology, The earliest variety of stone tools, which the prehistoric people of lower Paleolithic time were using, are very crude in nature, very big in size. Flakes are removed very big in size. Edges are not sharp and not pointed. So these crude tools are not that much effective. Later, in course of time, to overcome this problem of the thick and heavy size crude tool, they started developing their technology. As we know that necessity is the mother of invention, and because of this, they started preparing more fine quality tool because they felt some kind of requirement, some kind of necessity of the fine tool, small tool, sharp tool, pointed tool, and that's why they had to change their technique of manufacturing or the tool technology. At the beginning stage, they were preparing by anvil technique, but later, towards the end of Paleolithic time, they also used the Acheulean techniques. So it indicates about the evolution of stone tool technology based on the requirement. And coming to the Mesolithic time, they started using laser technique because they had to prepare the small tool, small artifact, tiny material for fishing purpose or for using in a composite way, composite manner. So that's why they changed the technology and they use the pressure cooking technique. Similarly, in the Neolithic time, because they were in need of very sharp object to till the land in the plowshare. So that's why they started grinding and polishing technique. So see how the technique is evolving, changing from one time to another time. Then, as we discussed, Neolithic time they introduced three other areas also. One is that they introduced the agriculture, they introduced the domestication of animals, also they prepared the ceramics or pottery for storing water and other liquid material, as well as for storing the grains or cereals what they produce from their field. Because that was the time of evolution, introduction of agriculture. So here technology is developing, tool typology is comparatively improving, and that is from the past to present. And nowadays also the tribal group living across the globe having their different mode of subsistence. Maybe they are depending on hunting, gathering, fishing, domestication of animals, or for shifting cultivation or settle cultivation. Everywhere we will see the use of different kind of objects and artifacts. And these objects and artifacts are basically prepared by these people, and for that they used to exploit their local resources, local resources, their plant resources, the animal resources, whatever available close to them. And based on the requirement, sometimes also they use the single artifact, single object for different purpose, and sometimes the multiple or object, multiple artifact for a single purpose. So this is all about this particular chapter, that is archaeological units, block 2. So here we learned four things. One is the role of space, role of place in human cultural evolution, role of stone tool typology, stone tools in human cultural evolution, the factor causes of stone tool technology which change from one particular time to another particular time, why it changed, how it evolved, and how it plays an important role in cultural evolution. And last one is the material culture, particularly relating to the household object, household artifact, which are important part of simple society, tribal society, and sometimes these material remains household objects used to provide some kind of clues, evidences related to our past culture, prehistoric culture. So this is all about this archaeological units. So with this, uh, we have to stop here. So I'm extremely sorry because of some technical issues today. I could not able to share the PPT, but I try my level best to discuss all the areas covering the archaeological activities. So now we'll go to the discussion or any questions. So if you are having any question, you can ask. I'll try to clear. So now over to you. Thank you for your patience and kind hearing. So over to you. Anyone? Any question?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So with this, uh, we are concluding our discussion. Tomorrow we'll come up with another topic. Thank you. Good night. Thank you.